for Scotty and Motty. That's Joe Smith. This is weird. It feels like we're doing something for Stretford Paddock.
We're not, Jay.
We're not. We're live.
Yes.
And Joe Smith is stepping in for Scotty, and we're doing a little cheeky Thursday night 30-minute live stunts.
How cheeky is it?
It's so cheeky. It's just been appointed Professor of Cheekiness.
Is it
at Oxford
cheekier
University.
than the concept of grating some cheddar on top of an already battered sausage from the chippy?
That's cheeky.
Imagine that on a roll. That's cheeky.
It's cheeky as pissing through someone's letterbox.
Yeah, but then you realise it's got the shutters on either side.
Yeah.
And actually, the bristles actually pull you back as you go in.
Yeah.
And then you sort of get a graze on it when you pull them out.
And then you send them the medical bill. That's how cheeky it is.
250,000.
As talking of cheeky people, we've also got Alexei with us.
Hello. Hey. Woo. Can I just say, Scotty, your hair's looking very, very different today.
It's not that different though, is it? Because he has it quite long sometimes.
He does. He goes through some stages, does our Mr. Scott. Like, he has a few different looks, which I'm semi-envious of, because I've just got the one look forever.
No, that's not true.
Go on.
It's lockdown beard, Jay.
There was lockdown beard, Jay. Yeah, but even then, like, your beard is mustard.
Mustard.
And mine was a bit sort of, I had to grow it to get it looking like a beard.
If mine's mustard, yours was that sort of translucent juice that will occasionally sort of ejaculate onto your hot dog before the main mustard.
It's always the ejaculate with you, isn't it?
No, not
all
always.
roads lead to ejaculate.
That's
so,
not true.
Flux Phil, what are we talking about, Alexa? You're in charge of this.
So, yesterday,
disaster.
United have been reborn.
Oh, look at United winning games.
Don't know if you two are familiar with the story of the baby Jesus.
Yes.
But the baby Jesus was born.
Yeah.
Jesus got killed.
Yeah.
And then on Sunday, he came back.
Right.
So Jesus got killed. So we got killed against Newcastle.
Yeah.
And then through the power of Garnacho, Harry Maguire and vibes, we are now risen from the dead, and we are reborn, and we're back, and we just might, I don't want to say it, but we might win the league.
In all honesty, right, how much weight did you put behind last night's win? Because me and you was on the watch along for Stretford Paddock, and it was a good performance. The XG was through the roof, and that's all I care about is XG. I don't even bother with the goals. It's just the XG. And the players looked up for it. Yeah. Which was the big question, wasn't it, following the sort of all the drama of the rumours of rifts in the camp and journalists getting banned and all this other nonsense and big players getting dropped. Players were up for it. Good performance. Good result. The only sort of little asterisk next to it is Chelsea are a bit shit.
They are a bit. But then also, what are we meant to do? Not beat them? Like, that's a very good
point.
You're not very good, so we decided not to beat you in the end. No, you still got to beat them. And they've got good players, and they've got league winners in there and stuff. They're not a team full of crap players. They're good. And they've turned up against City, and was it City where they played really well?
Yeah, they got a 4-4 against City. 4 goals against City is no mean feat.
And they beat Tottenham, 4 goals against them as well.
Yeah.
They've been good against the top teams. And I just think that it's easy to say that afterwards, they weren't very good, but United did a good job of making them not very good. Yeah. And, at times they broke through and did some bits as well, but I thought mostly it was United playing well and a little bit of them playing badly, but, we were so bad against Newcastle that a good performance is pretty nice, really, isn't it? It
is, and you take the wins when you can get them as well, and it was, like you say, a positive performance, and there's a lot to get to warm to. Yeah. Because Sofian Amrabat putting in his best performance. Yeah. Harry Maguire, there's a bit of a redemption arc going on there, although our mate Stephen Alson wasn't quite as enthusiastic about it.
He said he was good though.
Yeah.
Which is rare for him.
I know, that's a ringing endorsement for him, innit? And Garnacho, I don't think there's much question mark in him. What about Anthony? Because he's still a bit of a conundrum for me. Yeah. Because it's like, even winning the penalty, he literally won a penalty, right? That is a positive thing to do. Yes. But even the way he did it was a bit, what are you doing?
I can see you're just annoyed with him, aren't you?
I'm not, right?
You just don't. It's okay.
No,
and
I want him to turn it around. I want him to prove me wrong, because I think if he does, that means that Eric Ten Hag got it right as well. Yeah. Because I'm worried. Because I look at him and I think a lot of the time he's nowhere near good enough for what we need. Yeah. But he shows you glimpses, and last night was one of his better games. Yeah. I just feel that there's still that amount of frustration. I'm not knocking the kid for getting, winning us a penalty, but I'm just pointing out the fact that it was a little bit fortuitous the way he did it.
Yeah.
'Cause it was a bad touch. I remember saying at the time it was a bad touch, and then thankfully for him, was it ended up Fernandez stamps on him, whoever it was.
Yeah.
And he did it, especially both halves. He was getting forward. He's always wants the ball. I like that about him.
Yeah.
And he is quite entertaining. He's finishing, Joe. Honestly, it drives me mad. And I don't know for the life of me why he doesn't just try and hit the target. He's good enough to just think, right, let's stop aiming for top bins. Let's just aim for the middle of the goal. Like, he just goes for the best goal ever all the time. And it almost always goes over and wide. And it's like, if you just hit the target, like, Rasmus Højlund or someone might be there if it gets parried, if it doesn't go in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that really frustrates me.
Really.
But I think he's well within the right to start against Bournemouth. And I think that was probably a much better performance than we've seen from Marcus Rashford on the right of the front three.
Yeah.
Because that would have been the obvious swap, wouldn't it?
Like, compared to Martial, I know Martial played down the middle, but if you just look at the front three as almost a unit.
Yeah.
The one that we saw the other night last night was so much better, so much more aggressive and energised than the one we saw against Newcastle. And it's a different game, and Newcastle are better. But like, Martial just jogs about, and you can't tell me that he doesn't, because he did that when we didn't have a pressing system. He's done that his whole career at Man United. Yeah. That's what he is. He shuffles about, language style, this, that, and the other. And now when you want to play a pressing style and you want to push and you go for it, and he's just sort of shuffling and I nearly got there, I nearly got there. When just comparing to like Bruno or whatever, it's just night and day. Yeah. And like, that's not his game. All right, well, have that game somewhere else then. Yeah. Go have your little, I'll get there 2 steps after the defender's passed it. Go and do that in another club. Because, fair enough, it's not his game, but it's not United's game, what you're doing. No. So, and you have to go the other way. You have to make it your game or you leave.
When I say they look good, it's just, when you're watching it and you see that, especially when the chips are down, and I'm not one for you just got to run faster, because so many pundits just say that. Just run faster. But sometimes that's what you need to do, is put more energy in. Loads of comments, I'll get through them all. Hit that like button, please, people. Give us a like. Ross McPherson says evening. Joe C says hello, fellas. Antonio says, how's it going, lads? David Harrington says, best we've played all season. Let's hope it's a turning point. Steve said that, didn't he? Do you agree?
I'm trying to think. I think it's probably maybe the best 90 minutes we've had. But I think we've had spells that were better than that. I thought the first 30 minutes against Tottenham were better than that. I thought the first 20-30 minutes against Galatasaray were better than that. Copenhagen were better than that for sure. Yeah. But probably over 90 minutes, it's definitely close, isn't it? It's up there. We did give away a few chances, but when you look at, like Steve mentioned, overall I think it was 3 shots on target they had. Although that does include some crap misses and hitting the crossbar. But yeah, overall, probably the best 90 minutes.
Isn't it mad, right, how if you're a player, sometimes you can be well worth goals and just not get them. Yeah. And other times you can be not worth goals and just get some. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, there is a little bit of luck in there to getting goals.
Oh, massive.
I would never in a million years swap someone like Nicholas Jackson for Rasmus Højlund. Nicholas Jackson's got a few Premier League goals because basically he got lucky when he played Spurs and down 9 men, he got an hat-trick. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I know Højlund's obviously scored a load in the Champions League, but it's weird, isn't it? Because it's like, look at numbers, you think, he scored a few, but then you look at the context of it.
No question who you'd rather have, is there? Yeah, Nicholas Jackson's barely a Premier League level.
Isn't it mad that Chelsea, right, spent all this dough, and yet I think they still need another 5 players at least.
Yeah, they need a new centre back 100%. Because Thiago Silva's still their best centre back, and he's 39,
and Wesley Fofana's made biscuits.
You could argue that they might need 2 new fullbacks because Reece James is excellent, but he's constantly injured. And if it was Man City and Reece James, let's swap, Kyle Walker for Reece James. Let's assume Pep would be like, I can't rely on this guy. No, I need a new one.
So injured, like you say. I think Reece James, when he's fully fit. And not when he's just come back from an injury like he did last night. When he's fully fit, is mint.
Yeah, he's exceptional.
But
he's always coming back from an injury.
15, 16 games a season of that. Yeah. Before he's injured again, and he comes back and he's not quite himself, and he gets going. Then he gets, then he starts putting in performance. Yeah. Very, very good player, but injured all the time.
Again, I'm not going to say Caicedo's a dud yet because I don't like judging transfers after 3 months, so I'll move past him. Enzo Fernandez, I think there's a lot of talent there, but he's a little bit. Okay, go on then. You're really good. Oh, look at him, he's really good. But go on then. He's got a bit of the João Felix to him. I know they're not the same position.
I hear that.
But they look good, but actually they're not really driving. He's not putting loads of tackles in, and his output is famously, underwhelming. He's just a bit of a sort of, almost like, it reminds me of Kovacic a little bit. Not in this how they play, but in the sense of when you watch them play, you go, fucking hell, there's a player there.
Yeah.
And then you look their whole career and you go, he's never really done it.
Yeah.
He don't play, he's not a big passer. He's not got a great range. He's not a defensive sort of rock. He never gets any goals or assists. He's just sort of pretty good at everything, but not that good at anything. And then you look at the front line. Sterling can be excellent on his day, but the rest of it is like, maybe Conor Gallagher's probably the best one after that.
Yeah, we had a bit of a touch that he got suspended. I was chatting to Ronaldo Brown earlier, and he was saying like he would have made. You could physically see against Chelsea like where Conor Gallagher would have been in that midfield, making something or trying to make something happen for him. And with the opportunities he got, he might have just been able to get him a goal. Do you know what I mean? Whether that's an assist or actually scoring. So yeah, he's decent, but then it's like, so they basically need, like you say, strengthening everywhere. Because there's flaws. Nicholas Jackson's not up to it. Mudrik's not up to it. Enzo Fernandez, the jury's out. Casado's, the jury's out. But how long can you wait for him? No. Because they're going to probably have a season this season where they're not going to qualify for the Champions League next season. Mm-hmm. So that's another season where they're not in the Champions League. Then next season you go, right, okay, these players that have just not got us into the Champions League, are they good enough, or do we need to go big again? And it's like, right, if you're going to go big, where do you need strengthening? Well, everywhere. Yeah. So you're going to have to spend, another 600 million?
They need Nkunku to be a 25 to 30 goal a season striker to be able to go into next season and not have to massively investigate Champions League. Yeah, I know. Because
it's just like what he's got. Even the goalkeeper's like okay, but he's a bit sloppy.
Yeah, he made 2 or 3 good saves, but passed the ball out for a throw-in twice and passed it straight to our player twice. Like, that's crap. That's just really bad.
It really is. NC says, wow, Scotty's looking good today. Maybe it's the angle or new lighting in the studio. Stephen Lewis says, good evening, gents. How are things? Good, man. We're always happy when we've had a win. Ross McPherson says, I read that one. Miles says, after 15 games last season, we had 25 points. This season, we have 27. I mean, we look poor most of the season, but what if we start looking good? I feel like with United, right, I'm always waiting for us to kick on.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been going on since Fergie retired almost. Even like under Ollie, when we were, top at Christmas or finishing second, New Year's Day, and I still felt a bit like I'm just waiting for us to kick right into gear because there was still a little bit of like last minute goals and all the rest of it, and it feels like that under Ten Hag definitely this season where you're going, the sign's there, but it's still not quite right, is it?
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's last night was a point, a step in the right direction, but like we need to kick on because I don't feel confident with it's the game against Liverpool. I can't get out of my head. I don't feel confident
as much as and it's good that we're having this chat after a win because we can be a bit more level-headed about it.
Yeah.
But it's not actually that hard to see what United need. Like, I mean, obviously, maybe not to win the title. There's going to be more nuance than what I'm about to say.
Yeah,
but steadiness and assuredness up top. Start with that.
Yeah.
People who have done this job before. People who have won and been successful in their jobs, making footballing decisions. Obvious. That is obvious, isn't it?
No, that's
footballing
100%.
person would say getting a better CEO, a better director of football, a better owner won't help Man United. That's obvious. I hear that. So we look like we're trying to do that. Jim Ratcliffe, Jean-Claude Blanc, whoever it is underneath him, Dave Brailsford sort of overlooking it from just a sort of purely sporting perspective. These seem like good things.
Yeah.
Get your players back from injury.
Yeah.
United's best players last season were Casemiro, Marcus Rashford and Lisandro Martinez. 2 of those 3 are injured.
Yeah.
And Martinez has been injured all season. I know he's played, but he's been playing through injuries, we later found out. Get them back.
Yeah.
Obvious. Get the players who aren't trying, who seem like Rashford at the minute looks like that. We've seen other players who look like that. Don't play them.
Yeah.
Like stay consistent. Ten Hag has to stay consistent in his morals and his standards, and eventually people will mould to you or they will leave.
Yeah.
And that's how it has to be. Fergie didn't go, I'll just change who I am as a manager because Roy Keane's pretty good, or because Ruud van Nistelrooy is pretty good. And occasionally he'd make mistakes, but mostly he wouldn't. And that's where you have to have picked the right bloke, because otherwise you just trust a madman and you end up being, Portsmouth. But, I think we have. And just those things, which don't require any coaching badges, don't require any sort of tactical insight, just those things would make us a good chunk better.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's going to help enough.
Yeah.
And from there, then that's where the scouts do their job and the manager does his job and the tactics and all that. But just things that if we just wait a couple of months will happen.
Yeah.
We will undoubtedly be better with everyone fit, or most people fit. You're never going to have everyone fit, and a better system above Ten Hag. Like, I'm quite optimistic in that they're not that hard to change, those things I've just mentioned.
No.
Wait for players to get fit and give people who are good at their job the job. And that should make us a lot better. Do you know what I mean?
Nah, 100%. I think this is the whole thing, though. Like, it will make us better, but there's got to be a little bit of patience with it.
Yeah,
like,
that's the thing. There has to be patience.
Yeah, like you said, and that's not easy for a football fan to do. Like, you just... Me and you were talking last night about Arsenal played a bit of a blinder sticking by Arteta.
Yeah.
Because patience in football nowadays is just a non-existent commodity. And the kid finished, is it 8th twice?
It was 5th.
And he won the FA Cup.
Yeah, and then 8th.
And then 8th again.
Yeah.
Like, you think the 8th, the season where you finish 8th, you go, right, okay, finish 8th. Yeah. Next season, you got to get Champions League football. The next season, to finish 8th again.
Yeah, and also, the season they finished 8th, we sacked our manager.
Yeah.
So one of the teams who finished above them was in disarray.
Yeah.
With Solskjaer going and Rangnick coming in.
Yeah.
They still finished 8th that year.
That's so bad.
Do you know what I mean?
It's so amazing.
Like this season where there's like 7 teams doing pretty well this season, or 6 teams if you don't want to include United. It wasn't like that. United were just crumbling when that happened. Didn't Chelsea sack their manager as well? Didn't Tuchel leave?
Probably. They always do, don't they?
The year before, maybe.
Do you know what I mean? But either way, it was like they stuck with him.
Yeah.
When a lot of clubs would have just gone, nah. No Arsenal fan would have kicked off really, because they were all having the Arteta out t-shirts. Alexei, you was at the game last night, weren't you?
I was, yeah.
What was the atmosphere like?
It was great, yeah. It felt really good because everyone was kind of singing, the manager's name before the game. It just felt quite good again, having players actually looking like they're trying. Like Garnacho just running around like a madman.
I love Garnacho.
Bruno running the length of the pitch to make a tackle to stop Chelsea scoring. And Ten Hag, I think he's got a lot of in-game stuff wrong this season, but he was bang on bringing Shaw on at centre-back, because that's what won us the game, because they kept getting in behind in the first half so many times. Once that happened, they couldn't do it anymore, really. Might have happened once in the second half, but Shaw was just really calmly dealing with it. Maguire was great. It just felt good again. It didn't feel like the end of Solskjaer did, or the end of Mourinho did, or the end of Van Gaal did.
Good.
It just felt more like we've had a few bad results. Do you know what it was a bit like? A few years ago, we played Spurs at home under Ollie, and we drew 3-3 with Sheffield United, and we'd lost to, I think we'd drawn with Villa, and we'd lost all these games. Yeah. And we beat Spurs, and Mourinho was Spurs manager.
Oh, we beat them City after the week, a few days later.
Yeah.
Back to back.
And it felt a bit like that in a sense. Out of nowhere, we got this 2-1 win, and players were flying into tackles, and every tackle felt kind of something to be celebrated. It felt a bit like that, rather than feeling like this is a manager about to get sacked. I believe in Ten Hag a lot more after last night than I did before, because it's stuff like McTominay saying, oh yeah, the manager was a bit lighter with the training, which helped. He's making changes now. He's not just leaving it, he's making changes. So it's really good, but obviously we can't now go and lose to Bournemouth, because that would just kind of summarise the last 10 years of this club perfectly, I think.
It's mad though, because even like we've had issues and we've had some poor performances, and he's had to shuffle his pack, but we've still got good players. Yeah. Do you know what I mean, to come in?
Yeah. I think if you look at the squad as like, who could be here when we're successful? Yeah. I think there's 5 or 6 that could. Yeah. Like, I think Onana could, if we get back to the keeper that he has been in his career. Yeah, man. Like, I think Luke Shaw could win a league 100%. Title. Definitely. The centre-backs, we need to ask some questions, but I think Martinez could. Yeah. Right back, not sure. Yeah. I think Casemiro could. We know he could, because he's done it countless times for Real Madrid. Whether he gets back to that level again is another question. Yeah. Mason Mount has won a Champions League. He could be part of something else like that. Marcus Rashford at his best could undoubtedly be part of the title. A player that gets 30 goals in a season is capable of you know what I mean, being part of a title-winning squad. Definitely. Not a starter. And I think a starter, if he's the player that we know he can be. Because it's too early to give up on the kid because he's had a bad spell. And Bruno Fernandes definitely could be. 100%. And 100%. Probably deserves to be. It'd be unfair to him to never win a league title in his career. No. Højlund, we're not sure. Obviously, that right-hand side, there's a lot of questions there. But I think if we got, over the next 2 or 3 seasons, a rock solid centre back partnership, whether Martinez and another central midfielder, maybe the Casemiro's replacement or someone that can do a bit of that work as well. A right back and a right winger. Yeah. That might be enough. I know that sounds a lot, but if you think that's over 2 or 3 years, that could do it. And let's see where Garnacho is in a couple of years as well. It's never as far away as you think. Look at, especially the Champions League. Look at Chelsea and Liverpool doing it from 4th and 5th and 6th in the league. You just need a bit of confidence and a few good players, and you can push on. And we've seen Leicester do it, and it was a miracle that might never happen again. But United are better than Leicester, and 100%. And yet we're miles off. So we're probably not as far off as it seems. We just have to make sure that we trust the manager, or certainly hope that he's the right manager while we're trusting him, and just get it right.
It's like you say about getting it right as well. I think that right now, without any more signings, because I don't know what's going to happen in January, that's kind of what he's got to do in terms of getting the mix right. Yeah. Because there's certain players that just maybe aren't up for it, and there's certain players that you can't really play together. Do you know what I mean? And then there's others that gel. And he's just got to get that sort of balance right and find the right role. A big question, I never thought I'd be saying this a few weeks ago, is what he's going to do with Scott McTominay, because he scores goals, but he's not the most industrious midfielder in terms of getting about in the middle of the park and getting his foot stuck in things and picking out passes. So how do you get the best out of him? Like, he's obviously scored a lot of goals, and I think he mentioned it last night after the game, Eric, tonight, we need to get him coming into the box and get him on the end of things, which, all right, yeah, why not? He's been doing that this season. He's shown in the past he can do it. Let's do that. But then how's that going to work? What's your midfield if you do that? Do you know what I mean? Because you can't just leave Amrabat on his own to do everything defensively. Do you know what I mean? Like, it seems like a bit of an ass there, but it's a problem that he's got to solve. Do you hold more hope? Me and you were talking the other day, and like we were pretty despondent when we did a preview for the Chelsea game on Stretford Paddock. We both predicted a loss.
Yeah.
I might have to do that every game now because we won. Do you feel any more? Do you have any more hope, much more hope after last night? Because Alexei was saying, last night's really got him sort of excited. Do you feel like we could be all right?
Yeah, I do. Obviously, it's funny how much it turns in a game, innit? Like, almost embarrassing how much it turns. But it's not just us, and I don't think of us as particularly irrational fans. Yeah. And yet, after one game, I've gone from thinking Ten Hag's probably going to go after Liverpool to thinking, actually, we might be all right here.
That happens a lot, in games, right? There's a lot of seminal games, like Sevilla for Jose, Everton for Ole. Yeah. Games where if it goes one way or it goes the other, that can make the 0-0 at Anfield when Jose went against Klopp. I think if we win that, I think Klopp could have gone. Honestly, he was having a bad run. A lot of doubters. I think he'd won one of his last 8. We'd have lost to United at Anfield. They might have just gone, you know what, he's not the guy we thought he was. Yeah. But we drew, and that was just enough. And then obviously the rest is history. Sometimes you have these little, because people go, Chelsea in December, that's not the most. It can be. Yeah. It can be one of those where you go, had that gone a different way, we end up sacking him. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so there's nothing wrong with feeling like that. I'll get in some of the comments. Loads of people have commented. Like Miles says, like Joe was saying, proper football people above Ten Hag make this way easier and more achievable of a task. Ten Hag signed 10 players and moved on well over 20. It takes time. On one Puggy says, can see you winning a league with Bruno Mount in the same team. Oh no, and then he's corrected himself. Can't. I thought that. Shit. I thought he was saying like he wasn't a United fan. Half, not gonna lie. Yeah, like can see you, and then it's like actually can't. NC says in my opinion, and not necessarily in this order, but Dalot, Maguire, Varane, Eriksen, Van der Beek, McTominay, Martial, Anthony, Sancho, Evans, Reguilon, Casemiro, Amrabat, Rashford may all need replacing.
Fucking hell. I think there's a couple of them that are a bit harsh.
Yeah,
some are going to need replacing just age-wise.
I see he's gone with Dalot because he's not mentioned Wan-Bissaka, so I think he's saying like, right, we're keeping Wan-Bissaka. Amrabat, I think that's hasty. He's only been here like a few weeks or a bit longer, but you get my point. And I know everyone's hating on Rashford, but it feels a bit premature to say that he's done out here because he's having a bad spell. I mean, it is a little bit make or break season again for Marcus. I feel like at the end of this season, he's dropped another 5 out of, 5 goals a season. Then they might look and go, he's not the guy. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
I'd say what I would like, and I don't.
It's a bit too soon to say that now.
I wouldn't like this to happen. But if Rashford were to have a real stinking season, I want to phrase this the right way. I would like us to be move towards being a club that is decisive on players' careers.
Yeah.
Because for the last decade, we have been one that just goes, oh yeah, try again next year, and you end up with a Martial.
Yeah.
And try again next year, and you end up with a Phil Jones and a Matic who's got another deal, and a this, that, and the other. And I don't want us to sell Rashford at all, and I love him actually as a bloke.
Yeah.
But if Ten Hag decides he's not the right man and he has a bad season, like Sancho last season, it was like, oh, we might have sold him if an offer came in.
Yeah.
I like that because he's not the right type of player. Let's go with Sancho because it's easier than Rashford. He's not the right type of player for Ten Hag. The attitude clearly wasn't there. There's a history of him not turning up for things, being late, sacking things off throughout his whole career by the sounds of it. I like that he was sort of up for sale last year. Unfortunately, he's on too big a deal, so no one wanted him. But I don't want us to be a team... Like, look at City. When's the last time a player stayed at City 2 years too long? Doesn't happen.
Never.
Absolutely doesn't happen.
Like, they went... Like, I know it was a bit different because he went to Barca and he probably his decision. But even like Gundogan, it's like... He's gone... And, all right, I know City acts like a flying, but there's a good chance they can still win the league this season.
Yeah.
And they'll have had, like, whatever, was it 5 good seasons out of Gundogan or maybe a little bit longer. I think he's one of Pep's first signings, wasn't he? It was actually his first signing. And even, like, players where you go, ooh, like Jesus, ooh, Zinchenko, they don't miss them.
No.
They won a treble after they left.
And this is the thing as well. People confuse a player going on to still be a decent player with you shouldn't have sold him.
Andres Pereira's done bits at Fulham.
Yeah, but look under Ferguson. Like, Jaap Stam, that's maybe the exception because we shouldn't have sold him.
I know,
But you look at Van Nistelrooy, I think he won the Liga Golden Boot. He was certainly Real Madrid top scorer.
Yeah.
Like Forlan, the same. David Beckham went on to have a great career after Manchester United. And there's loads of examples of it.
Yeah.
Patrice Evra got to another Champions League final, I think, with Juventus after he left United. But just because
Ashley Young won a Serie A.
Exactly. But that doesn't mean they were good enough to win United a title.
Yeah.
Zinchenko the same at Arsenal. Sterling the same at Chelsea.
Nah, I heard that, bro.
City get rid of him. You go, oh look, they're still good. You shouldn't have sold them. No, they weren't good enough for us anymore. They still can be good enough for a worse team. They can still have successful careers. But United, when they get rid of someone, they end up being retired 18 months later, or not getting a game in the Europa League 18 months later. Not like what was Morgan Schneiderlin's career after Man United?
Oh, Morgan Schneiderlin went Everton, didn't he? And he was terrible, I think.
And even, no offence, but even someone like Wayne Rooney, you look at him and you go, he was done when he left United. Yeah. As a player, I guess we sort of wanted him to get that 250 goals, didn't we? But like, we hold on to players until they are finished and spent. And sometimes you need to get rid of them, not a season, but 2 seasons before that. Because that way you can still get a bit of money and you're not embarrassed when they're playing for you and being shit.
With City, they do that thing, don't they, where they've still got a little bit of something to offer. Yeah. So, like, they go like the Zinchenko's, the Jesus, the Raheem Sterling. And then they've also got the other end of the spectrum where they've got the youngsters who are just getting going but aren't good enough for the City team but can do a job. Like, I mean, he didn't really work. I don't think he did. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like Ferran Torres, didn't he go to Barca?
He's back to Barca, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Cole Palmer is another one who, very good player. I love Cole Palmer, I think, as a player. Is he going to get in City's team? Probably not.
No.
And he's gone to Chelsea and he's done bits. And let's not forget, he wasn't even Chelsea's first choice. I think they looked at other players before they got him. Ant L in the Super Chat says, before we even consider replacing players, we need a defined system with a quality director of football and recruitment team. And buying for the system, not the manager. Alexei, before we wrap up, I want to just ask you one thing, right? You've been at Old Trafford, you've soaked up the atmosphere, you've looked into Eric Ten Hag's eyes, you've seen the white of his eyes and that, yeah? You know better than anyone what is going to happen this season.
He's pulled out a crisp cigarette in the car park.
Yeah.
And you've chatted to him.
Yeah.
And what did he say?
Where are we going to finish this season? What's going on?
So we spoke a bit about, the ongoing economic turmoil.
Yeah, he's always going on about that, isn't he?
G8 or something.
And
G8
all of that.
mate.
And, we spoke a bit about, having to tap in and out of the tram and that, whether he pays for it. It won't surprise you to know he does pay for it. I feel like Ollie Solskjaer was a very vibes man, so he wouldn't have paid for it.
Yeah.
But Ten Hag pays for it. That's him. That's on him.
Okay.
But he did also tell me that this season we're heading for a resounding 5th place finish.
Wow.
I think
we're going to get 5th on the final day, and everyone's going to go, oh, well, that's it, Thursday nights. And then Mr. Coefficient Man is going to go, actually, 5th place is Champions League. And we're going to go, yay. And we're going to have an FA Cup final against Blackburn Rovers.
See, now you've lost it now.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We ain't getting to the FA Cup final.
Again.
But that is the Youth Cup final.
There you go.
All right, okay, yeah.
In the senior FA Cup final,
Yeah.
we get knocked out in the semi-final by City. And it's a valiant effort,
Yeah.
but we had a few players out. I think this is their 25th win in a row.
Right.
It's hard to beat them when they're on those kind of
Yeah.
straights. But yeah, so we're heading for an FA Cup semi-final, 5th in the league,
Yeah.
Champions League football next season,
Yeah.
new owner coming in,
Yeah.
and then next season we'll just repeat the whole beautiful cycle again.
Sack the manager and start again.
What do you
Yeah.
reckon? Where do you reckon we're going to finish the season?
I think
I know we did all this before on the main.
I think we might squeak 4th or 5th.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to do very well in the cups. I think we're going to go out of the Champions League. I think we'll finish bottom of the group, and I don't think we'll have any Europe. And we'll probably face, because now we've broken the home run curse.
Yeah.
I say curse, blessing in the cups.
Yeah.
We'll probably get a Liverpool or a Tottenham away and lose. So I've got a feeling that it's going to be a tough year. It's going to be the sort of year where we really have to, actively back the manager, not just sort of say it because you think that's what football fans should say.
Yeah.
We actually are going to have to go, this might be shit and he might not be the right guy, but I'm backing him anyway.
Yeah,
it's easy to back the manager when you're winning. Anyone can do that. That's not
Yeah,
backing the manager, that's just being happy. Like, backing the manager is when it's shit and you still think, you know what, even though it's shit, there's X, Y, and Z reasons why it's shit, and I can see it turning around next year. We might have to do a bit of that. Because every other year, sorry to go on.
No, it's all right.
Every other year, at the end of the season, it has been relatively self-explanatory what's happening with the manager.
Yeah.
We either finish second, third, or fourth, and they keep the job, or we don't, and they don't.
Even when he won the FA Cup, like Van Gaal, he's done, innit?
He's done, and we knew he was done.
Yeah.
But this year might be the first time where you go, he might be done here, but actually he has to stay anyway.
Yeah.
Because we either finish second and of course you keep your job, or you finish sixth and you don't. I think we might have a fifth or sixth and a real dilemma as fans where we have to buck the trend and stick with him anyway.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I want that to happen, whether it will or not. We'll have to see. All eyes are on Sir Jim, aren't they?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Someone in the chat put, Miles put, Alexei giving me mini Andy Mitten vibes. Which is interesting. Anyway, I put a link in the chat, right, to the Sloppy Joe's podcast. Go and check them out. That's where Joe's come over from, man. This is like one of them super groups, like, what is it you said the other day? McBusted?
McBusted.
Yeah, this is like
Stone
McBusted.
Age,
So go and check out Joe. Joe, thank you for coming on this.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man. I know
Thanks
you're
for
busy
having
man
me.
as well, man.
Yeah,
I've got my money's worth out today. I've had you on the radio and everything.
I know, I've done
Do you know what I mean?
all
And
that.
Alexei as well. He's been joining
Cheers,
us all.
Alexei.
We've been a right little family.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been good stuff. Me and Joseph are going to be back later on tonight on Stretford Paddock doing Paddock Live. So come and check us out if you can. Go and check out Sloppy Joe's link in the chat. And if you're not subscribing to this channel, please do. Let's hit that subscribe button. We've broke the 10,000 subscribers barrier. Now it's, next stop, 100k.
100 million.
Yeah, 100 million. This has been Scotty and Motty. Thanks for watching.